How to create checklist for effective negotiations. In order to ensure that you haven't forgotten a key point, you must always have a checklist for every task you undertake. This is especially more critical in case of negotiations, as one wrong move and you will lose the deal forever, or even worse, win a wrong one. So let me help you create checklist before you go into the meeting room. Have you got all the necessary information about the product or service you sell, especially in terms of benefits? Is your agenda for the meeting crystal clear, especially in terms of what is that you want to achieve today? Can you justify the opening price you will state? Have you been able to identify the needs of the prospect, especially in terms of features or benefits they are looking for? Do you know how urgently the prospect requires your solution? If the prospect is not in a hurry, you will not be able to push through your agenda. Do you know whether the price you are going to quote is affordable to the prospect? Have you researched for how much your competitors are offering the solution? Do you know which problems does your solution solve for the prospect? Have you been able to identify the strengths and weaknesses of your proposal? Have you prepared a list of objections that you will face? Have you prepared a list of concessions that are acceptable to you? Can you quantify the impact of the concessions that you can make? Can you clearly state the terms and conditions of your offer? Have you been able to identify the points on which negotiations will take place? Have you been able to identify the alternatives to the concessions that the prospect may ask for? Have you identified things that you will ask in exchange for giving concessions to the prospect? Now this checklist may vary a little for different market verticals, but even if you are able to follow through this list, it will prepare you well enough for the negotiations. There are some important things which you have to remember. Never make a concession at the start of the negotiations. It will set a wrong precedence and will eventually encourage the prospect to expect more. At times, you will have to reveal your cards. Don't hesitate. If the discussion is not going in the right direction, be firm and bring it back on tracks. Never ever give anything for free. For every concession, you have to demand something of more or equal value from the prospect. There has been a serious misunderstanding about the process of negotiation, that if you are a good talker, you can talk your way through a negotiation. This is a completely wrong notion that will result in your failure. To be a good negotiator, you have to be a good researcher. You have to be firm in your approach. You have to also empathize with your prospect's point of view. You have to be a good listener. You should be able to ask relevant questions. Talking is only a small part of the negotiation process. Therefore, the more you prepare and practice, the better results you will get on the negotiation table.